parents had a double standard for 20 years, so I gave them a taste of their own medicine. Growing up, my mom and stepdad had this rule: no boyfriends or girlfriends spending the night. Fine. Their house, their rules. But here's where it gets twisted. When my older brothers turned 16, suddenly their girlfriends could sleep over. They just had to use the spare room. Not the same bed, but still, they could stay the night. I watched this happen twice with both my brothers. Me, I was always a tomboy, didn't get my first boyfriend until I was 18 years old, legally an adult, and my parents still wouldn't let him spend the night. Not even in a separate room. Nothing. My brothers got this privilege at 16. I had to wait until I was 25. 25! And only after I got engaged to my fiance. We'd been together for 3 years, engaged for a year, wedding planned in just a few months, and only then did they finally let him sleep in the spare room. By that point, we'd already moved in together anyway. So recently, my mom calls about wedding planning. First time she'd contacted me since I moved out. She insists on coming up for a week of mother-daughter bonding time to help with the wedding. They arrive, we have dinner, nice evening, then they ask to be shown to their room. I take my mom to one guest bedroom, my stepdad to another. My mom looks confused. There's plenty of room in one bed for both of us, and that's when I said it. Actually, it's my house, and I don't want unmarried couples sharing a bed under my roof. The look on her face, pure shock. But we've been together 20 years, she protests. Doesn't matter. You're not married. Those are the rules. I'm literally using her exact words from all those years, word for word. She starts getting defensive. It's different. We're adults. I was an adult too, Mom. Remember when I was 23, engaged, and you still wouldn't let my fiance stay over? You told me it didn't matter because it was your house and your decision was final. Now she's getting angry. Your brothers were different. How exactly were they different? They got to have girlfriends sleep over at 16. I had to wait until 25, and I was engaged. You're making that up, she snaps. Making it up? 20 years of watching my brothers get privileges I was denied, and she claims I'm making it up? The tension in that room was suffocating. My stepdad just stood there not saying a word. My mom's face was red, her voice getting sharper. This is ridiculous. We're leaving. The guest rooms are ready whenever you want to use them, I said, staying calm. They did stay that night separately. I could hear them whispering angrily in the hallway, but they stayed in separate rooms. The next morning, they packed up and left without a word about wedding planning. No goodbye, no see you at the wedding, just gone. 2 days later, my grandmother calls, furious. How dare you humiliate your parents like that? They've been together for 20 years. Grandma, they made me follow rules for years that they never applied to my brothers. I'm just applying their own standards. That's completely different. Is it though? Because from where I'm standing, it seems like the only difference is that now I'm the one making the rules. The house has been quiet since they left. My fiance keeps asking if I'm okay, if I regret it. And honestly, part of me thought this would be a quick lesson, that they'd realize how unfair they'd been, we'd laugh about it, and they could share a room for the rest of the week. But instead, they got aggressive. They denied it ever happened. They made me feel crazy for remembering 20 years of different treatment. So I stuck to my guns. If they couldn't acknowledge the double standard, then they could sleep in separate rooms just like they made me do for years. The wedding is in 3 months. I don't know if they're coming. I don't know if we're even speaking anymore. But for the first time in my life, I stood up to the people who spent 2 decades treating me differently than my brothers. And honestly, it felt incredible.